Ricky Pearsall. Now, if you like highlights, if you like guys that flash in short periods of time, Ricky Pearsall has got some of the best highlights across the entire draft class. Out of Florida, 6'1", 190 pounds, slightly older prospect, but inside, outside versatility. He absolutely blew up the combine. Elite athlete. It's funny because I've said he's blown up the combine, he's an elite athlete. In my rookie guide, I wrote that he was a below average athlete. So I don't think that it translates that athleticism onto the field. So yeah, that's a real concern. I'm due to go back and watch him later in the week. So yeah, that's definitely a player I want to reevaluate. But are you a Pearsall believer?
I'm not, to be honest with you. He's not really a guy that I'm super excited about. But as you mentioned, there's a reason why, if you go on Twitter or X, whatever you call it nowadays, there's a reason why he's becoming a bit of a darling over there. And it's for the reasons you mentioned. You go on YouTube and you search his highlights, and he has got some of the best highlights, I think, out of all the wide receivers in this class. He's a highlight reel on legs, to be honest. But for me personally, I think when you start digging more into it and starting looking more at it on a per game basis, I'm not wowed by him, to be honest. As we know he's got the flash in him, but I just don't think he's consistent enough for me to get super excited about. You mentioned the athleticism that he does have is obviously appealing in terms of what he can do when he's got a pair of shorts on and running at the combine. But when you look at him on the football field, I think it's a little bit different. For a guy that has that kind of athleticism, that kind of speed that he showed in his 40 time, he's not really somebody that can separate a great deal when you're watching him on tape. He's great at the contested catches. That's why he's got these highlight reel catches all over the place. But he really struggles to get that separation. So maybe that's down to how good he is at actually running his routes. I think he is a pretty good route runner, but there's just something about him that I'm not quite sold on. I just don't think it's going to translate when he moves over to the NFL. He's got great hands, shown he can be versatile, played about half of his slots, half of his routes in the slot, half of them outside. So it can be shown that he can move all across the field, but I just don't quite see it with him, to be honest. I think he's definitely somebody that we're going to get those glimpses throughout his NFL career, and who knows, maybe he could land in a situation where he gets early opportunity and he can build on an early opportunity. But for me, I just can't see him making that transition over to the NFL. He's not somebody I'm actively going to target, as we mentioned earlier on with somebody like a Roman Wilson. I'd rather take a running back, I think, at where you're likely going to have to draft him because of all the hype around him, because of all these highlight reel catches that you see. I think that's only going to elevate his price that you're going to have to pay in your rookie draft. So probably not somebody I'm actively looking to grab, but if he does manage to fall to, I don't know, the late third, maybe early fourth in my rookie drafts, yeah, I don't mind taking a shot on him, but overall not somebody that I'm willing to reach on like some of the other guys we mentioned a little bit earlier.
Yeah, exactly that. I think there's, for me, a limited ceiling. I think I can basically copy and paste everything I said about last receiver in terms of I don't think he's a natural route runner that's going to command volume. And I think he's going to almost need to be schemed up. You see, he's never had over a 22% targets per route run rate. I don't feel that he's going to be a guy that's going to command 100 plus targets a year. He will probably have some good weeks. He will probably have some flash plays. But for me, I think he's destined to be that roster clogger, that, wide receiver 2-3 for an NFL offense that you kind of feel like you have to roster in Dynasty, but I don't think you're ever going to get excited to start. So I also have real concerns about his get off. And I know there's some film released today of him running routes with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and he looked phenomenal. But a corner gets hands on him too easily, too often. I think he'd almost need that free release to get schemed up, and it's difficult to pencil that in. He's not going to be Tyreek Hill that you're going to make the focal point of an offense and scheme up free releases consistently. So yeah, I'd rather just avoid him and look at other guys.